Hello world, this is Slicksoft Coder. I am going to show you how to make your own API using Node.js, and this is a very straightforward tutorial. You can use it right away for your projects. So let's start. First thing first, we need Node.js. So you need to install any versions you like. But I suggest use long-term support LTS version right here. Just download and install it. After you install it, uh, we need VS Code. But you can choose whatever IDE you like. So I'm using VS Code. And third, we need a database to connect our server to database. I am using MySQL Server, latest version. And after you set up your database and you're installing your Node.js, we start right away. So here in my VS Code, I created a Node API folder, your project folder. You can name it whatever you like. So this is a blank folder, nothing else on it. So let's let's set up first. So first thing first, we need to set up npm init -y. Now it will create a package.json file. This is the descriptions of the information of your project. So right now just leave it as it is. And next we have to install packages from for our node server. So first we are going to need express. So just install express npm I express. And as you can see, we have the command added a node module. So here we go. This is the needed modules for our server. And next is I'm going to install MySQL2. MySQL2, this is what we use for connecting our API to our MySQL database. So just install it. And I'm going to I need chalk. So what is chalk? It is just a beautiful uh, if you want to output in your terminal with a beautiful text or output, you need chalk. But it is just optional. So yeah. So here it is. Now, next thing is we need to set up our first file. I'm going to make a new folder. I will call it bin, and inside that bin, I'm going to make a new file. I call it igniter.js. So this file right here is the foundation of our API server. Okay, let's set up our environment. So first, I need to make a const app equals require. I'm sorry. Const app require the folder of our app, but we will set up right after this file. So and then const debug equals require id debug, then sorry, namespace node server. Okay, next is we need to require the http const http require require http, and then last const chalk equals require chalk. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm just put the comment here. Get port from environment and store in express, right? So this is just a comment. You can leave it out. So const port equals normalized port. Now this is where we are going to um, put what port we are going to use. I will use port 8000. You can use port whatever port you like. And app, that's set. We need to set the port for our app. Okay, port there. Okay, now we need to create our HTTP server. Just adding another comment right here. HTTP server. Whoa, sorry. Another constant value. Server equals HTTP that create server. Okay. Okay, and put our app right there. Now we need to listen to the port that we provide. Okay, so server that listen to port, and then server that on error. Sorry, error on error. Server that on listening on listening, and just follow along. Normalize port. We need to create a function. Normalize port value. Const port equals parse value 10. Parse int pala. Right. If none, if port is greater or equal to 0, return now. We need to add an event listener. So right there, need to add another comment. HTTP function on error if error syscall is not equals throw error. Const bind equals type of port equals string pipe. need to use a switch here, error.code case. Console error. Fine. Requires elevated privileges. Oh, sorry, it's a wrong spelling. Okay. Let exit 1. Then we need to break it. Then case. R in use. Just copy this. Then I'll just change this. Bind is already in use. This message is for if the port you provided is already in use, then it will throw this error. And then we need to break. We need to add a default. Throw error. Okay, so let's check it. Okay, that looks good. And lastly, we need to add one last thing. So HTTP function on listening address equals server dot address const bind false type of string pipe plus the address. Oh, sorry. Address dot port. Whoop. Sorry. Address. There you are. And then we need to output the debug listening on. This will print out that what port we are using. Console.log listening on port. What port? So we need to add this. I will use the chalk here for the beautiful output. So chalk, I will give it a green color, green bright. You can refer to the chalk repository for other colors that you might use in your project. Okay, so now we just printed out what port we are listening to. Okay, so that's it for this file, I guess. Okay. Okay, next thing is we need to make our main app. Okay, to add you can name it whatever you like, so I just name it app.js. Okay. Okay, let's set it up right away. Great. error require we need to import the HTTP errors, and we need to import also the express that we installed lately. Require express. Oop. Require path. And next we need to import cookie I'm sorry cookie parser. Require cookie parser. And then we need to use the logger. Require logger. Require Morgan, I mean. Let's check it. Okay, we don't have a Morgan package, so we need to install it in PMI Morgan. Here we go. So that's it for our importations, and I'm going to make a constant for my API version. API version equals API slash version 1 URI. Okay, now this is where we make our routes. So this is our routes right here. So this is how we can make our routes. So const for example user router equals require, right? And this is where we should put the path of the file. Let's make it first. So I will make the folder routes. Okay, routes. This is all the files that you need. For example, you need router for authentication like login, okay, or like you want to insert, update, delete your CRUD, goes right here. So I will make a folder. I will name it users, and inside that users I will make a file. I will name it create user. Right there, create user.js, and I will add another one, retrieve user.js. Okay. Now each file here has its own purpose. This one is to create a new user. Okay. New user. And this one right here is just to retrieve all the available users on the database. Retrieve users. Okay. Now that we made our files, we just call it here. So what folder it is? So from routes, okay, and users I will call create users. I will rename it create user router. There. Now that we have our route set up, we will need to set up our engine next. So this is our view engine setup. So app, that's set. We need to set our app. If we have a view, wait up, path dot join. Directory name views. Now this views right here is where if you want to return an HTML file, yes, so that's where it goes. Okay, So we will just add a new folder called views, but this is not necessary. We are just using this as an API, okay? But we can also serve HTML pages right here, okay? This is just an optional. This might be useful for the future, or for your future projects. View engine. You need to use the app.use. We need to use the logger. I'm sorry, I forgot. I always forgot to add a semicolon. App.use express.json. App.use. We need to use the express URL encode. Express that encoded. Extended equals false. There. And we need to use cookie parser. Cookie parser. App.use express.static path.join. Okay. Now we need to point our routes. This is our route, right? We need to point this route to the URL. So what URL we are going to use for this route? Okay, route URL. Oh no. So we need to app.use. We need to use our API version, so this will be attached to our URL. Okay, so we need to call it API version plus, I will name it create user. Okay, create user right there. And then we need to point what route we are going to use. So we are going to use this. Just copy this and just paste it here, right there. Const app equals express there. Okay. And one last thing, and we are ready to execute our API. We need so app.use function, the request. Okay, the first is the error, and then the request, the response, and next. So that message rec that app that get our environment is for development, so we need to make development. Okay, and last thing is we need to render the error, render the error page. Response.status. Oops. console.log. And then we need to export our module, which is the app. So modules. Okay, module that exports the app module. We don't have any code right here, so we need to create this one first. Okay, so just copy this. Oh no. Okay, so next is we need to make our create user. Okay. So first, we need another constant for express because we are needing it right now. Require express. I hope you follow along. Const router equals express dot router, and then chalk require const mysql equals require mysql2. Okay, now so we need to point this out to our index. We need to add another route right here, so call it index.js. Okay, and we just express equals require I will do it very quick. Express that router. Right here we need to get the home page. That get path. Rest that render. Okay, so our index is finished. Back to our create user. We need to make a function for request and for response. Now, this is where we should state our database. Okay, this is our database configuration. So I am using a pool here. Okay, so const pool equals mysql. So we're calling this constant right here. We are using the mysql2. mysql dot create. We need to create pool. Okay, create pool, and we need to state our configuration right here. So first is we need our host, okay, the IP address of your database. So for me it's 192.168.0.254, and then we need to put the user root, and then for your password, you can put plain text password right here, but we are going to use hash password. So SHA1, we are going to use that. So password this, okay, buffer, oh sorry, buffer that from, okay, so the password of my MySQL is, this is where we put our hashed password. So maybe you are wondering, where did I get this hash password? I go to this website, so I just input my password, my SQL password right here, and I just hash it, and this is the result. Okay, so we should not use our plain text password right here. So I use hash password. So that's it. Next is our database name. What database are you using? Just put it right here. Node schema. So yes, this is my database. MySQL server. I name it node schema. I just created just one table user account with a serial, username, email, password, and the status. So you can put whatever columns you like. It's up to you, okay? Now that I already set this up, so I just use it, node schema. So I just put it in the database, okay? And we need to add another configuration. So I just add wait for connection. This right here is it is it will wait for the connection to return before closing the this pool right here. Okay, so I just turn it to true. Then I will add a connection limit. Connection limit for how many connections for this pool right here. So each pool, you can make a multiple pool, but right here we are using just one. So each pool we have a connection limit. So I just put it about 10 limitations. Then queue limit, I will put nothing, no limits at all. Okay, now that we set up our database configuration, we should set up next our query to our database. So let's call the pool right here. We use that pool to make the query. Yes, pool.query. And then this is where our query, okay? This is our SQL statements will placed, okay? Okay, so and make a simple insert right here. Insert into user accounts. Is it true? Let me check. User account with no S. So insert into user account, and what columns you would like. Serial. I have username, email, and is active. Yes. With the values of, I am going to use a placeholder right here. So 1 2 3 4. Is it correct? 4. 1 2 3 4 5. Password, okay. Email, and then password. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so 5 placeholders. Okay, good. And then comma. Next is the values of we need to use the request right here. This request is from, okay, the endpoint or the device that requesting this API, okay? So we need to use the request that let's say query, then the name of the request, so serial and then I just copy this, copy, paste, 1 2 3 4 5, serial, the username, the email, password, and lastly if it is active. There you are. So we need to add right here the bottom. Now we need to check if this query right here is successfully executed. Okay, so we need to make a function error if there is an error, and result for whatever result we like, and that's it. Now if something is wrong with our query, okay, if there is an error, then it will throw error right away. If no error at all, it will execute this statement. If we need to check if there is an affected rows after executing this query, so we're doing this like this: result that affected rows, okay, is not equals 0. Okay, if not 0, it means our query is properly executed, and our data, okay, our data is properly inserted in this table. So if affected rows is not 0, so we need to send a status. Okay, so right here we use the request, and then we need to send the status to the user that it is properly executed. So we need to use the response right here. So response that status, we need to send the status to the user. So you can put whatever status you like right here. Res that status, I put 200. Okay, dot send. Okay, I send it to the endpoint, and then we need to close it. Res dot end, right? Okay, so if you want, you can console.log the result right here. Console.log, what message do you like? Example query status. Query status. We'll be using this our chalk again for the beautiful output. I will put green bright, and then what do you want to put in your chalk? I just put success. Affected. I need to put the rows right here. How many rows are affected? So results that affected rows plus okay, this is just console.log. Okay, if our query status is success, then it will print out the affected row. So success affected, for example, 1 row. So that's it. Else, okay, we need to put a else statement right here. If our query is not properly executed, maybe there is something wrong with our query, maybe misspell, you need to check your spelling right here. Okay, if there is something wrong, then we need to also send a status, okay, to the user. Res I will put 202, it means there is something wrong. Let's send. And then another response that end right here, and then I will just copy this. I will replace this for as red and then error. Okay, that's it. So we can test this out. Oh, we need to export. Lastly, we need to export this again. Module that exports equals router. Okay, let's check it. Okay, that's good. Scripts test. So we need to change this to start, and then change this to node. Okay, it tells that this is the starting point of our application. Slash, we need to start at our igniter inside our bin. So we need to call the bin. We need to go inside our bin and state the igniter. Okay, and you can press this little debug button right here. If there is something wrong, then it will print that out. Let's try it. Okay, we have a problem. Okay, so I forget to install our cookie parser. npm we just need to install it. Cookie parser. Okay, let's test it. Debug. Okay, we need to add one dot. Then let's start it again. Right here, router. So we just use route, so it's a mistake. Sorry. And just start it again until we can't find any error anymore. App.use. So yeah, right here. So just mistype, and let's try it again. Okay, if you encounter some errors, I just want you to know that you need to upgrade chalk, okay, version for to the specific version. So you just do is npm install chalk at for the specific version 4.1.2 and just enter to be safe right there. And then we once again, I hope for the last time, no error. Yes, there it is. So right here we are good to go. Our server is alive. And oh, second thing is you need to add another folder, a public folder right here, just inside, with no files in it. For the future, we can use it like, for example, we need to return to the browser an HTML file, just like that, HTML. We need to render it. So, or sometimes we need to return error 404 file or 500 404. We can use it in the future, or error 500. So this is where all our HTML file goes in a public folder. Let's try our API for the first time. I hope you already installed Postman. If you don't know, then you can Google Postman and install it. Okay. So Postman, we use Postman because this way we can test our API more faster and better. So you can pause this video and install Postman. Next is this add button right here. You can click it, and then you can select what type of request you like. So there is get, post, put, patch, delete, and anything else. So in our situation, we should use post, okay, to create new user, okay, new user account. So let's select post, and then right here enter request URL. So HTTP, where you need to use your IP address, 192.168.0.254. That's my local IP address, and our port number, so 8000, and then slash, we need to put our API version right there. So I just copy it. So copy this one right there. So API v1 URI slash. So we need to put right here, okay, the URL of our create user, which is create user. So let's put it create user. Now, how can we insert the data? So right here we have a key and a value. So first, let's take a look at our create user. We have user serial. We have username, email, password, and inactive. Uh, we should copy that and put it right in our key. So first is serial. Oh wait, we need to add another. We need to add another. Where it is? We need to make our serial. This serial right here. I am using UUID for this serial. I am not using const serial equals. We need to import the crypto first. Const crypto equals require crypto. So const serial equals crypto dot random bytes with the size of, let's say, 16 bytes. Okay, that toString and encode it to hexadecimal right there. Now we have our serial. So we can just copy this and put it in our first value, which is the serial column right there, and then we are ready to test it finally. So we should remove that serial. First we need to start the username, email, password, and then what value do you want to insert. For example, John, the email of John at email.com with a password of 123, and the status is inactive. Is active. I can put 1. Okay, so as you can see right here, it added question mark for the parameter for username, email, password, and is active. Okay, so let me minimize this to be clear for you. If we click send, we will be able to see what's happening right here. Okay, so let's try to send. Whoa, 192.168.0.254. In the configuration, I don't know. Okay, there is S. Wait for connections. True. Let's restart our server. So let's test our API again. So hit send. As you can see, success affected 1 row. So need to add space right there. So yeah, that's it. So we need to check our database. So our database is filled with 1 row. Okay, so if you have error, just ask in the comment section. I will help you. I have a free time. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next part. How can we retrieve, create, update our database. Okay, so thanks. Bye bye.